Welcome to the Alcohol Addiction Podcast. My name is Lee Davey. I am not an alcoholic. I refuse to be anonymous. I am someone who doesn't drink alcohol, and I spend every waking moment helping other people do the same. Just like today, I am currently, as you can see, sitting on a bed in what has to be the world's smallest hotel room. Okay, this is literally my entire hotel room. It's tiny. I think the Japanese like really small spaces. I'm in Tokyo at the moment. It is very, very hot. Very, very hot. I've just left my family to come home to do a podcast and a few other bits and bobs, and I'm going to get back out there again. What do I like about Tokyo? I love Tokyo. In the nighttime, I feel like I'm in Gotham City, minus all the bad dudes. Sure, they have violence here and issues and problems, but I don't feel it. You know, the vibe here feels pretty cool, if I'm being honest. I love the fact that nobody smokes in the streets. It looks like it's banned. There are a lot of no smoking signs everywhere on the pavement. I think that is pretty cool. Maybe one day we'll see no alcohol signs everywhere as well. But who knows? We can hope, huh? So that's pretty cool. And it's really, really quiet. And I was saying to my wife, I think one of the reasons it's quiet on the streets is nobody beeps their horn. I hate horn honkers. I can't think of a more passive aggressive way of being. You know, you're in your car, you think you're protected, you're a big I am, you can honk your horn at everyone. It's not needed, man. Nobody does it in Tokyo. It's really quiet. I love it. And the food here is fantastic. Really is a fantastic place to be. So if you get the opportunity to come to Tokyo, please do. I think it's wonderful. I want to start this episode by welcoming Catherine, Lottie, struggling artists, Liz and John to the Strive Community Forum. We've all joined in recent weeks via the Alcohol Addiction Podcast and lots of other different avenues into Strive. And they're now doing the work, which is really super important. I'm not going to keep you long today. Just want to reiterate a few things. One, I am traveling around Asia, so we're not going to have any guests on until September, I don't think. So I'm just going to keep the greasing the oils, if you will, with these individual podcasts. I hope they're of use to you. What else is going on? We have the Radical Honesty experience up on the site. It's 20 quid. You get a question a day from me that is designed to encourage you to be radically honest, to answer it without wearing a mask, without fearing about repercussions, without fearing about justifications, because I think being radically honest is really important when it comes to being someone who doesn't drink alcohol. So send me an email at thetruthaboutalcohol@gmail.com and I'll tell you more about radical honesty. The Truth About Alcohol Life-Changing Experience, we're going to run another class this month in August. So if you're interested in that, email me at truthaboutalcohol@gmail.com. So they're the two things I wanted to talk to you about, as always. And if you're not a member of Strive, get on to Strive as well, please. Again, it's quite easy to find. But if you're struggling, you can go to www.thetruthaboutalcohol.co.uk. But if you're struggling, email me at thetruthaboutalcohol@gmail.com and I'll sort you out. All right, I want to talk a little bit about metrics today. There's this old adage, right? You know, that you cannot manage what you cannot measure. Have you ever heard that before? I'll give an example. Long time ago, before I became someone who doesn't drink alcohol, I used to work on the railway. One of my jobs back in those days was to make sure that I ran my freight trains on time. Now imagine you were trying to run your freight trains on time, but you had no system in place to actually tell you which ones were running late, which ones were running on time. Because without that system of telling you which ones are running late, which ones are running on time, you would never be able to identify the real core issues within your train planning, if you like, or the problematic trains, and to ask the question, well, why is this train running late all the time, right? So metrics are really important in order for you to manage things, in this example, the running of trains on time, in a more kind of structured and organizational fashion, right? So if you work in a business, then all businesses are going to have metrics, okay? You probably have a bonus related scheme that's attached to certain metrics that you need to achieve. A classic would be how many days of the year you miss due to absence, right? That would be a metric, for example. And I also believe that outside of business, I actually believe that we should be running our life like a business as well. And one of the things that we should be doing is we should be setting up metrics that really challenge ourselves and to show key areas within our life where we're kind of moving out of alignment with our meaning and purpose, right? And one of those metrics is drinking alcohol. So, for example, you could have a metric that said, how often do I drink alcohol? How often do I smoke cigarettes? How often do I not exercise? How often do I exercise? How often do I eat sugar? How often am I arguing with my wife? How often am I spending time with my kids? These metrics really allow you to see with definitive evidence and proof that you are either adhering to those metrics or you're veering away from them, right? And I think it's really important to know when you're veering away from them or not. And a classic metric when it comes to wanting to quit drinking alcohol is counting days, right? So people will come onto Strive and say, hey, I'm 30 days, I've never done 31 before. I'm 2 days sober. I'm 2 years sober. With me, I'm 9 years sober, right? And you know, we've interviewed gaming experts on the Alcohol Addiction podcast before, and there is some merit if you're designed that way to give yourself a count of days if it's going to, that metric is going to propel you on and push you forward in order for you to protect that run, right? So let's say, for example, you say, I'm going to count the number of days that I'm going to be sober and not drink. And I'm going to set a goal for 3 months. I've never done that before, so 90 days. Well, if you're the type of person who doesn't like to break your own rules, right, then you are likely to not drink until you've reached your 90 days, which I think it would be a very beneficial thing for you. But if you're the type of person who, I don't know, let's say you set a 90-day goal and you drink after 20 days, and because you haven't reached your goal, you just go on a massive bender and just have a serious case of the fuck it's and then just drink too much, then maybe setting that kind of metric is not good for you, okay? But it's each to their own, right? Me personally, I never count the days of anything. People say to me, Lee, how long have you been vegan? I haven't got a clue. How long have you not been drinking alcohol? Sometime in 2009, but I do not know. How long have you not been eating sugar for? Do not know, mate. How long have you not been watching pornography for? I haven't got a clue. How long was the last time you had a gamble? Do not know, right? I don't work like that. And the reason I don't is because when I gave up smoking and when I gave up drinking, I did so because both of those drugs provided me with zero value, okay? Zero value. I retrained my neurological pathways to believe that alcohol and cigarettes gave me zero value in the long term. And because I did that, I had no desire to smoke or drink. And if you have no desire to smoke or drink, the thought of smoking and drinking is just illogical. It's just rationally absurd. So why then would you count your days? Why would you then say, oh, I'm glad that I'm now 5 days sober? Because for me, it wasn't like that. It was, right, wow, alcohol does what to me? Smoking cigarettes does what to me? And I thought it did this and offered this value and it doesn't. Well, I'm not fucking drinking again. I'm not smoking again, ever. I'm taking a vow. I am never drinking again, ever, 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 ever. And after I took that vow, I never felt a compulsion or need or desire to drink. Ergo, what is the point in counting the days? There is no point for me in doing so, right? Tony, who's a member of the Strive Community Forum, Tony, who's a striver, he doesn't count the days. He does a percentage system, you know? So it's like, what percentage of this month have I had a drink? Okay. I think that is better, myself personally, than counting the days, because a lot of people, let's say you have not had a drink for 90 days and you drink on the 91st day, then you could go on a massive bender, think you're an absolute prick, I don't know how to do this, I'm fucking useless, and you forget that actually you've had one drink in 90 days. And then you might go on another 90 days and have another drink and then go on another bender, but you've had 2 days where you've had a drink in 180 days. That's a phenomenal success compared to where you likely were, which is drinking every day. So the percentage system that Tony uses, I think, is a better idea, okay? But I have a better metric for you, and it's following a theme that I've been talking about on these solo podcasts, right? If you feel that setting a metric on the number of days you're going to go without drinking alcohol is a stretch too far, and let's peel this back a little bit. A metric is only good enough if it is stretching you, right? There's no point setting a metric for something that's really easy. And there's no point setting a metric for something that is impossible to attain. But if you're setting a metric for something that is going to stretch you, and it's going to really challenge you, then I think that is an important metric, okay? But what if it is just beyond the realms of your ability in that moment, and to not achieve it is going to be a catastrophic nightmare for you, which is going to set you back weeks, months, or even years. You might even say, I'm never, ever going to try to do this again, okay? Now, I would say alcohol or giving up alcohol is in that field, all right? My decision to stop drinking alcohol and suddenly realize there was no value and be like super cool and never want to drink again after drinking for so long is an unusual case. You are more likely to find it more difficult to fight against these challenges and these triggers, right? So I have a better metric for you that I think will be a lot better. Why don't you give yourself 30 days where you are going to log on to Strive and check in on a daily basis, okay? Think about what I'm proposing here. Rather than say, let's not drink for 30 days, which is going to be really super challenging for you because you're going to have cravings and you're going to have a desire to drink because you believe there's value in it. How about just checking in on Strive? You can download the Discourse app on your phone, search for Strive Truth About Alcohol, and you can just check in every day on the phone while you're having a morning poo. You could just log on your laptop whenever you've got a spare 2 minutes and check in, you know, and you just check and say, hi, it's Lee. How's everybody doing today? I feel really good today. Hi, it's Lee. Just checking in. I feel really shit today. Hi, it's Lee. I had a really nightmare today that resulted in a trigger. If you could check in for 30 days, okay, on Strive, you are building a really important muscle that I've talked about in previous podcasts, right? A really important muscle of a commitment to something, okay? A commitment to a new orientation or a new way of living, a paradigm shift, because strivers are people who don't drink alcohol, okay? And if you're in and amongst that group, if you're part of that movement, then it's only a matter of time before you become someone who doesn't drink alcohol. You're just going to evolve like everybody else, okay? And I really strongly believe, I really firmly believe that in order for you to be someone who doesn't drink alcohol, you shouldn't focus on not quitting alcohol. You should be focusing on checking into Strive and becoming a part of the movement, all right? And then after 30 days of checking on Strive, you don't want to check in anymore, don't worry about it, don't check in anymore. Then you can start counting how many days that you want to stop drinking, okay? You might even, after 30 days of checking in on a daily basis on Strive, say to yourself, I feel so much more confident now about being someone who doesn't drink alcohol. I might start counting the days from now on in, right? You might do that if you want. But I'm saying here that when it comes to metrics around being somebody who doesn't want drinking alcohol, a much better metric to give yourself is how often you can check into Strive, how often you can help other people, how often you can ask people to help you, how often you post your triggers, how often you become vulnerable and share your vulnerability. Similarly to the radical honesty experience, if you can find the money to invest in the radical honesty experience, every single day you'll have a question, every single day you answer it. You will be flexing that muscle. If you have the money and the time to take the life-changing experience, every single day you'll be doing your homework, you'll be watching a video, you'll be sharing your vulnerabilities and your mindset and your beliefs and your worldviews and your paradigms with other people. These are the things I believe that we should be setting up metrics for. How often are we watching these videos? How often are we listening to the podcast? How often are we checking into Strive? How often am I looking at radical honesty videos? How often am I checking out the videos on the Strive Academy? Okay, those are the things that we should be doing. That is the work, as Stephen Pressfield says. If you want to beat resistance, and right now I'm sure that you're struggling with it, you need to do the work. What does the work look like? Well, I've just told you, yeah? Those are the metrics you should be setting, not the metrics of, it's been 30 days since I last had a drink. It's been 40 days since I last had a drink. It's been 50 days since I last had a drink. If you're doing that and you're fine with that and you're comfortable with that and it's not going to send you on the road to fuckdom, if you have a drink, then carry on doing it. Do that as well as setting this goal of checking in on Strive for 30 days. But I really strongly believe this is super important. I tell you what, if you check in on Strive for 30 days regularly, And I mean a lot more than just, hi, it's Lee checking in, see you later, right? You really put some effort in over those 30 days. If you've done that for 30 days, you write me an email at thetruthaboutalcohol@gmail.com and tell me that you've checked in on Strive for 30 consecutive days. I'll give you a gift. We say that again. If you check in on Strive and you check in 30 days on the trot, you send me an email and say, Lee, I've just checked in on Strive for 30 days on the trot. I'll have a look to make sure you've done some deep, meaningful check-ins in amongst all the just quick, rapid ones. And if I'm satisfied that you've been checking in, you've got a lot of benefit out of it, I will give you a gift. And I'm telling you, the gift I give you, you will love it. You will really enjoy it. So there you are. It's Lee Davies signing off. If you've got any questions whatsoever on metrics, let me have them at thetruthaboutalcohol@gmail.com. I'll catch you all later. Take care.